Soldier. Yes, Commander? Do you have what it takes? What do you mean? We just lost everyone on the field. It's up to you now. Can you save the world? I'll try, sir. There is no try. Only do or do not. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. This is Colin, and today I want to do a playthrough of XCOM the Board Game. Now, I am playing also with the expansion. It's called Evolution. Why I decided to do this is I actually played this for the first time at Gen Con. I bought this game and sold it, or traded for it and sold it at least 3 different times. Never got it to the table. I always had a reason why, man, I'm just not going to learn the rules. And the biggest thing is the rules are on this app, and I really don't at all like that, because you have to click through it and try and find it. So I was not liking that. But I had someone else teach me the game, and now I really like the game. And so I was excited to show you guys a co-op playthrough. I taught my wife. Yeah, she didn't like the game. I found out she doesn't like reading text on cards quickly. She likes real-time games where you're making very quick, short decisions, but this one you've got to read cards and make long-term decisions relatively quickly. So being a bit bummed, I decided, well, let me see if I can play it solo. And you can. It is not the easiest. I'm going to play on the easy mode, but I will show you how you control all 4 different units. There are the commander, the chief scientist, the central officer, and the squad leader. So I'm going to be all 4 of those things, trying to do them as quickly as I can, and then there's the resolution phase. So we're going to see if we can win this game. Let's do it. So here we'll start with our setup. Before you start setting the game up in the app, you'll have to determine what your final mission should be. I'm going to do the domination mission. I think there's a total of 8 different ones when you add in the 2 that came with the evolution booklet, or the evolution expansion. So this is the final mission that I'm going to try and complete. If I can complete that before 2 continents go to the orange in panic level, I win the game. But this doesn't get flipped over until the app determines it. So I might have to complete other missions first before I can finish this one. You're going to start the game out with a bunch of different assets on the table. Now, when you're playing cooperatively, each of the different types of players, so like the commander or the chief scientist, will each get a couple cards. When you're playing solo, you're going to get all the cards. So you start out with them if they have the word asset here. So I have all of my timed phased cards right here, right by the board, and then I'll have my non-timed phased cards, so they're called the resolution phase. The resolution phased cards in a different spot. So I just wanted to show you the timed phase ones right here. So I will probably never do this one, but this is the research center. You can exhaust this to discard 2 tech cards from your hand, then draw 2 tech cards. So as the chief scientist, if I had those cards in my hand and I had time to make a determination of if I didn't like something, I could discard 2 and draw 2 new ones. This one, though, I definitely will be doing. We discard 2 salvage, and you can recruit 1 mech soldier. And a mech soldier is from the expansion, and those are awesome. I'll show you to them in a second. We also have over here, we have the mission control. During the time phase, I can place 1 satellite here, move 1 unit from its reserve to the board, or 1 from the board to the reserve. So let's say all of a sudden a UFO shows up somewhere and we don't have an interceptor there. We can use this as kind of that last-ditch effort to get it there. Over here, we have our satellite nexus, so we can place a satellite here to move 1 UFO on the board to orbit or to a continent that has not fallen to panic. Here, we can place 1 satellite here to flip 2 Exalt tokens. I'll show you what those are in a second. Over here, the Sky Ranger, this one's awesome, but you have to spend 2 soldiers. Soldiers are any type of the ground units. So all the ground units have a specific name, but when it says soldier, it can be any type of ground unit. And then you can discard a card from the crisis pool. That's amazing. But it's only during the real-time phase, okay? And then over here, can you see this one? Yes, the Infiltrator Agent. You can exhaust this and add the top card of the crisis deck to the crisis pool and remove 1 Exalt token from 1 task on the board. And I shouldn't say remove 1, it's actually remove all Exalt tokens, because you might get multiple Exhaust tokens or Exalt tokens in the same location. Finally, you'll have your emergency funding here. You start with 10 million on there. You'll be asked by the app if you want to pull any money off of there. If you do, you'll pull it off of this card. And then over here we have officer training. You can exhaust this, place 1 soldier here, and then they'll turn into a recruit, or an elite at the end of that round, and elite soldiers get to roll an extra die against any of their items that they're resolving. You'll want to shuffle up all of your mission cards, which I've done. I've set them here because you'll have to draw 2 missions and pick one during the real-time phase or the time phase. You have your interceptors here. You start off with 6 of them on the board. You'll have 2 in the reserve that you can purchase later. You will have 8 scientists here that you can use, and you'll have 8 satellites that you can use. For our chief scientists, this is our tech cards. We'll be drawing 6 of those and then placing them down on the board and trying to research them throughout the game. We also start with 3 resolution-specific cards. We have our laboratory over here, where we can discard a salvage and then add an XCOM die to each roll during a research task, limited once per task. It's pretty nice. Then here we can discard an X amount of scientists, not discard, we can place an X amount of scientists there to use and exhaust this ability on a tech card that costs that same amount of successes. So if I have a card that needs 1 success, I could place 1 scientist here and then actually use the ability 1 time and then discard it. It's a nice last-ditch effort. And then the satellite uplink, probably the most important card. You can exhaust that to reroll an alien die. And you'll see why that's important during the resolution phase. We have our crisis deck here and our danger deck from the expansion here. The crisis deck, you will be told during the real time, draw a crisis card. So you'll draw 2 of them, you'll choose one, whichever one you think is not as bad, and you'll put it in the crisis area to be resolved during the resolution phase. But don't forget, we might be able to discard one of those if we give up 2 soldiers. But sometimes you can't do that. Now with the expansion, we have these danger cards, and actually you can kind of see it right up here. So it used to be that when your base took damage, in these yellow locations, nothing happened. Well, now every time we move to a yellow location, when the base takes damage before we lose, we'll have to draw one of these danger cards. Over here now we have, you can see at least 2 of our different soldier types. We have the assaults and the sniper. You're going to start with 2 of each soldier type except for the mech troopers. You won't start with any of them. What's important to note are their symbols here. So this symbol tells them that they're exceptionally good at this type of symbol, and this symbol is they can support with that, but they're not amazing at it. What that means is if I place them in a spot on an alien card or on a mission that also has this exact symbol with a yellow on it, I get to roll 2 XCOM dice. But if I see this symbol, I can still put them on that spot on the alien or mission, but I'll only get to roll 1 XCOM die. And they all have a different combination of 2 symbols. So during the real-time phase, I'm going to have to determine which soldiers to send on which missions and which ones should defend the base based upon the enemies and the mission symbols that we need. There are a total of 5 different soldier types. The mech troopers, why they're awesome is they're elites at everything. Okay, not elites, but they're specialized in everything. So they'll always get to roll 2 dice on any type as long as it's got this yellow box around it. So yeah, they're pretty awesome. But the only way we can make them is during the real-time phase, discarding 2 salvage. Now over here we have exalt tokens. What exalt tokens do is they make certain the resolution phase more dangerous. So normally you're going to be rolling an 8-sided alien die, and that 8-sided die, if you roll too low, you're going to lose all of your troopers or you're going to lose all of your interceptors. But when there's an exalt token there, you roll a d6. So you're more likely to fail. So they're really annoying. That's from the expansion. You can, though, use a success. So if I roll a die and I get a success, instead of using that as destroying a UFO or getting another success on a science card, I can use it to destroy the exalt tokens. Now I just want to show you over here, this is the other way we can lose. If the base ever gets completely destroyed, we're going to lose the game. Also, you can see right here, if ever any of the or 2 of the continents get to this orange location, we then lose the game. Now, normally we have all of our reserve units here, but during the real-time phase, so you guys can see everything, because I'm obviously not going to be moving the camera around, I can place the app right here, and you guys can kind of see it and then still see the whole board. So normally your reserve units, the units you can purchase, are here. But for now, we'll have the app there. So I think with this, we can jump into starting to set up the game. So here we have it, you guys, XCOM the board game. So hit play. Now, if you're playing with just the base, you'll hit this. If you're playing with the evolution expansion, you hit here. I am playing 1 player. Next. I tried, you guys. I tried on normal 2 times. I'm not good enough. I could keep playing this and maybe get there, but so we're just going to play on easy. That still shows you how the game plays. Now, I did pick domination, so let's see. Perfect. Next. Now it's going to tell me the enemies to include, so I'm going to include the Thin Man, the Sectoids, the Seekers, and the Sectoid Commanders. I've pulled out those enemy types. Now you can see these enemies have different symbols on them. When you place your soldiers into the base to protect them, or protect the base, and try and take out these enemies, you'll need to match those symbols. And so you can see how this symbol has the yellow square around it. If I played my heavy, which also has that exact symbol, he would get to roll 2 XCOM dice by being placed here. But I can never put more than 2 units on here because there's only 2 symbols. I can place 2 units on this one. I can only place 1 unit on this one. So what I'll do now is I'll take these and I'll shuffle them all up together. Then we'll hit the next button. And we have, okay, our HQ is located in North America. So we're going to put this token in North America. Why that matters is we're also going to now get a specialty card for North America. And if that specific location goes under yellow, below yellow, so it goes to red or heck orange, then you don't get the ability that's on that card. It's another card that we'll have to use during the time phase, but it's awesome. We can just exhaust it to build 1 interceptor. So we'll be a little bit better in the air because of that. Super, super nice. It's actually one of my favorites. It's the one that I learned to play with, so I'm the most used to. So that it says that right here, the air and space asset card, as well as the officer training, which I already showed you, and the emergency funding, and the infiltrator agent. Showed you all of those. All other commander asset cards are placed in the game box as they're not needed for this game, because there's one for each of the different continents. I think my other favorite one is Australia, just because you can destroy a UFO. We'll then hit the next button, and it shows us where our starting panic level is for each location. So we've got Europe, Australia, and South America are all at the highest level, which is great. That means that they're not panicked at all. North America then is 2 down, and Africa and Asia are 1 down from there. This matters for 2 reasons. One, of course, this is one of our losing factors if ever we get 2 to the orange level. But if certain continents get to the red area, that means that they're in panic and you won't get as much funding. So we want to make sure now if we see UFOs on the board, we're really going to want to cover our butts in these 2 locations. If these locations end up taking some panic hits, we might be okay. But these ones, not so much. So then we'll hit start. If I can hit start. Okay. Then we'll begin round 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the camera over to the side because there's no way that I could do this with the camera here. And we'll see how we do this real-time phase. I have an idea of how I want to record it. We'll see if it works. Let's do it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you during the playthrough.